What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. The UFC 4 official gameplay trailer is in a couple of hours by the time this video drops. So I just thought I'd make this video so hopefully we get to see a few things in this video. And as you can tell by the title, this is about all the stoppages. I've been getting a lot of comments about things you guys want to see when it comes to stoppages, and we're going to be going through all of them and everything I want to see. So first things first that we need to do before we talk about any of them in general is the ref needs to pull you off. I think you should still be able to ground and pound when you knock someone out like cold, or they go like completely stiff like Dan Henderson done to Bisping. But I think regardless, the ref should pull you off, or like if you knock someone out cold and you go for the ground and pound, they can get in between you, or if you're ground and pounding them, bang, 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 unintelligently defend themselves, their ref pulls you off at all times. I think we need that just to make it feel a bit better. I think that's one thing you guys can all agree on that you really want, is the ref to pull you off. Instead of just waving it, the ref really needs to push you off, tackle you off, pull you off, whatever it may be. And I think that's something we can all agree on 100% we need in the game. So we're going to start out with a knockout. Obviously you have these in the game anyways, but you don't really see them often in UFC 3. UFC 1, obviously I've been doing a career, and one thing I noticed is you knock people out and sometimes they go completely stiff, like, what was his name? Edson Barboza done to Tim Edson, something like that. He went completely stiff, and in UFC 1 you used to be able to knock people out and they would go stiff. Sometimes they would just kind of collapse and crumble, but sometimes their arms would be stuck, they'd be completely stiff on the ground, and that's a really cool feature, and that's one thing I think we need. Next up is TKOs, or technical knockout. Dropped, and then obviously ground and pound. They might not be knocked out cold, they might just be unintelligently defending themselves. That's one thing we need. We don't want every ground and pound to end in a complete vicious knockout. Sometimes if you're just, if you're in the fetal position, or how you guys might know it from the game, if you're on backside, if you're on their back, leaning on them, and hitting them repeatedly, the ref should say, alright, listen, you've just taken like 15-20 shots, you need to be pulled off, and that's that. Next up is obviously these are all for TKO. I'm going to do it in like categories. TKO, so dropped and ground and pounded and unintelligently defending themselves. Standing TKO, like Holloway done to Pettis or Alvarez done to Rafael dos Anjos, where they're just bang, 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 getting banged up. They're still standing there, they've still got their hands up, but they're getting caught in the side, they're getting uppercut, body shots, just in general, not being able to defend themselves intelligently, just taking shots. Just because you've got your hands up doesn't mean you're defending yourself intelligently. You're taking shots to the side of the head, the front of the face, the body, and that's when the ref needs to stand in and say, enough's enough. Another one which I think counts as a TKO is not able to get off the stool if your fighter's that exhausted. That's one thing they won't put in the game, because you're just playing a video game, so you're not going to say to your fighter, oh, that's enough. I suppose in your career, they could say, listen, if you go into this round, your longevity is going to be really affected, so you can just call it off. But next onto that, the next category is throwing the towel between rounds or during rounds. This does tend to happen more in boxing, but it can still happen inside MMA, and that would be one thing I'd like to see. Maybe, if you're in career, if you're really dicing someone up, their stamina is at an all-time low, they're going into the 3rd or 5th round, depending on what it is, their corner can say, nah, like, throw in the towel, I've seen enough, I don't want to see any more. Or if you're pounding the crap out of them inside the cage and there's a bad ref like Mario Yamazaki, the corner can say, that's enough, throw in the towel, call it off, like the Wilder Fury fight. His corner threw in the towel, they had seen enough because he was busted up, and the ref obviously didn't want to end the fight, so the corner called it off and threw in the towel. Next up is doctor's stoppage. Either, torn muscles, broken bones, big cuts, swollen eyes, things like that. I think that's something we need to see, especially big gashes above the eyebrows, or the actual eyebrows, or big swollen eyes, like the Brian Ortega fight, the Cowboy fight against Ferguson, things like that we need to see. And I think Dr. Stoppage would be good, because it happens in Fight Night, and one thing that happens is when you get a big cut above your eyebrow in Fight Night, you then are always thinking, shit, I need to defend myself more, which then slows the pace of the fight down. For you anyways, you have to be smarter with your movement, you have to be smarter with when you're throwing, because you don't want to keep getting caught above that eyebrow. And I think Dr. Stoppage is one thing they really, really need to do. I really want to see it, especially it would be good if you could be warned. Doctor could say, listen, you need to watch that now. If that gets any worse, I'm going to have to call off the fight. Or if, you get the eye thing and they say, okay, you can still see, but if that eye gets any worse, I'm going to have to call off the fight. I think that's one thing they need to do. Not like for jaws, because obviously like Kobe Covington had a broken jaw in his fight, and broken noses are no big deal. But obviously, in submissions especially, we'll get into that in a minute, but like broken bones, broken legs, things like that, that's when the doctor needs to come in and call off the fight. But I suppose the ref would call that off anyways. But I was just thinking, you know, like the Macy Barbar fight, she tore her leg, and the doctor didn't stop that fight, but I think he should have. So that would be maybe something you could do if you in career mode if you don't train correctly. I don't know. That's just what I'm thinking. I'm not really listing everything that's in the game. I'm just listing all the types of stoppages you could get. But things like cuts and swollen eyes and things like that, we need those in the game. That's one thing we're definitely missing from the experience, in my opinion. Next up is submissions, with the classic thing that I saw in the comments is tap, nap, or snap. So obviously in a submission you either tap, you either go to sleep, or your bone or ligament gets snapped. I think as someone pointed out that in a career mode that would be a good way to be. You could say like, you know, you're going to refuse to tap and you get put to sleep, but you also run the risk of maybe being more injured. Or, you know, because unfortunately in the MMA community some people are shunned for tapping because it's like, oh, they've given up. I don't agree with that personally, but that is how it is. So I think maybe that would be a cool thing to see, but maybe you get the choice almost, like as the fighter who's tapping, you get the choice to tap. I know that wasn't how it was in the beta, but a lot can change from now to the beta. From the beta to now, sorry. So that would be something cool, you know. They might end up seeing popped shoulders like Frank Mir done to was it Big Nog? Minotauro Nogueira? One of the two. You know, he snapped his shoulder. Where he had him in a Kimura, shoulder completely popped round because he wouldn't tap. So, you know, that was like, I'm not tapping, so you're going to have to snap my arm. And that's what he done. Obviously, next up, we have decisions. Unanimous decision, which obviously is 3-0. Split decision is 2-1. And majority decision is where 2 judges give it to you and 1 judge rules it a draw. Next up, I know you guys really, really want to see this because I've had a few comments about it, and that is draws. You have a unanimous draw, which I don't think I've ever seen. If you guys know a fight where it's a unanimous draw, leave it in the comments so I can go back and watch it, because I really want to know. And that's when all 3 judges rule it a draw. A majority draw is it's 2-1, so 1 judge ruled it that you won the fight or your opponent won the fight, and 2 judges ruled it a draw. And a split draw, which I've also don't think I've ever seen, is where all 3 judges score it differently, so not in favour of anyone, and that's one thing I've never actually seen. So maybe let me know if you guys have seen any majority draws, or not majority draws, sorry, split draws or unanimous draws. I don't think I've ever seen those ones. But yeah, one thing I know you guys want is a draw. Especially that might help the decision making when it comes to, you know, going the distance in the game. But I think we definitely need to see all of these stoppages, especially when it comes to TKOs. We need to see standing TKOs. We need to see unintelligently defending themselves. We need to see cuts and swollen eyes, doctor stoppages big time. We need to see a bit more variation on submission, possibly broken arms, torn ligaments, things like that. I just think that would just make it more interesting because you never know what you're going to get. And especially in career mode, then that might make you be like, listen, you've got to tap, because if you're in a submission and they're twisting, do you really want to be out of action for a year? You don't. So that might be something that they definitely say, you know, that's what they're going to add. And then draws. I know you guys want to see draws. It's funny because no one wants to lose and no one wants to draw in career or in general, but it's just the fact that if we get the ability to draw, we then can say, oh, we got a draw. It's just one of those things. You don't want it to happen, but you want to know it's there. And I completely agree with you guys on that. So, yeah, these are all what I think. So, you know, let me know what you guys think. We need knockouts. We need, like, stone cold stiff knockouts. We need TKOs, you know, unintelligent defend themselves, standing TKOs, throw in the towel, doctor stoppage, multiple submissions, multiple decisions, and all the possibilities of draws. We need to know that we're never secure with the win, because you never know how judges are going to score the fights. So let me know if there's anything I missed. I don't think I did. I'm pretty sure I've got every possible stoppage known to man, other than naming all submissions, but I'm pretty sure that's most stoppages. Obviously, you know, you can get a lot of like different things for decisions when it comes to how they're scored, but I'm pretty sure unanimous, split, and majority, and then unanimous, majority, and split for draws and decisions are all the same. So yeah, but I'm gonna stop rambling here because I'm just kind of I really just want standing TKOs. That's what I want. But anyways, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments down below, and thank you for watching, thank you for the support, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.